Greetings, everyone. Welcome again to our Chronicles of Life in Kenya. Today we're out for our morning walk. We're taking a different path than we did previously. We're going through a different part of the neighborhood here on the outskirts of Nakuru, Kenya. This area is called Baruch. And so we're taking a different route, but as you see, it's a beautiful sunny day. Warm weather, about 78 degrees. It's about 10:30 or 11 a.m. morning time. So again, you'll get a chance to catch a glimpse of what it's like in the outskirts of the small city of Nakuru. It's almost like a village atmosphere in this part of the neighborhood. And so we're just embracing the warm sunshine, the fresh air, and the sound of the birds singing, and just the peace and calm of this beautiful part of Kenya. And so whenever you come to visit Africa, not sure what country you may be interested in visiting, but you want to make sure to get out of the big cities, go into the rural areas, get into the suburb areas, enjoy some of the greenery and scenery. You know, we have concrete jungles in America. Let's get out and actually see some of the so-called jungle in Africa. It's always good to get a diverse experience, a different background, different experiences from what you're used to. It's funny because sometimes I hear of people who travel to some of the most exotic places around the world just to stay in their hotel room for the time they're there. They go to the restaurant inside the hotel. They go to the pool at the hotel. They go shopping at the mall. And I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you travel halfway around the world just to live in a hotel and to go to a restaurant and a mall. It will be more of a fulfilling experience if you got out and enjoyed some of the actual settings that the country has to offer, including interaction with some of the local people. And of course, my Kiswahili is not the best. I only know a few phrases, the greetings for the most part. But it's good when you respond or you interact with some of the locals just by using your Kiswahili greetings. Seems like the people are very excited to see what they call Mzungu, which is the word for foreigner here in Africa, speaking their language. But even when you speak their language, they can tell by your accent that you're not a native Kiswahili speaker. And so my dialect is getting better. But you see in the video, this is what we call a compound. They have the walls around the houses with the gates. You see here again. That's very common here in Africa. And I know in America, usually only the rich have compounds where big walls are around. But here it's common for houses to have a wall around. Some are live fences, like you see this greenery on either side of me right now. That's considered to be a live fence. That's a fence made to conceal things from the other side. But they don't provide any real protection besides, but it does in a certain sense, now that I think about it, because they have these bushes or shrubs that grow to have these big spikes on them. So if someone were to try to come through those bushes, and also other side is also usually there's a big compound fence wall and gate. But the live fences, the bushes that they use to make the live fence are usually briar bushes. They have big thorns on them. So if a person tried to come through, they would really get scratched up. And I don't think they would be wanting to have much appetite for coming through the fence once they encounter those big thorns. And usually there's a wire fence in the midst of the live fence, which also provides a somewhat of a barrier. But again, you see the contrast. On my left side there, you see a concrete wall, which provides protection and concealment, and the live fences provide concealment and a moderate level of protection from people just walking onto your property. You know, in America, people just walk up to your front door in the average neighborhood, just walk and stand on your porch and knock on your door. And that's why we have a lot of what we call home invasions in America. So I don't know why that hadn't caught on with people, probably because of the extra expense of putting a concrete wall around your house. But maybe the live fence should be something and could be something that people in America should implement. You see again on my right hand side, this is a huge concrete wall. This is a shop area, well, small shops where they sell goods, and sometimes they have salons and small grocery type items inside of those little buildings there. But again, I just wanted to take time so you can be able to see, enjoy, and get somewhat of a glimpse of the experience of what it's like to be here in Kenya or probably in other countries of Africa. They have similar areas in the rural sides of town. Like I said, we're right outside of Nakuru, maybe about 10 kilometers from downtown Nakuru, which is, I think, the third largest city in Kenya, where you have all the modern conveniences, malls, grocery stores, shopping centers, schools, shopping plazas, neighborhoods. So here you see a gentleman riding his bicycle through the area. I think I greeted him with the customary greeting of either Barayako or Jambo. They usually respond by saying Missouri or Poa Poa, which means I'm good or I'm doing well. And so that's another glimpse of some of the housing as it is in this rural area. It's a very peaceful, calm place where you can really just relax and unwind. It's not a lot of stressful rushing around in these smaller towns and rural areas. Now, if you see some videos from Nairobi, you see the constant hustle and bustle of what they call the CBD, which is the Central Business District. It's a big rush of traffic and people. It's not my most favorite place to experience. In fact, I don't really care for the big crowds, but this is more of my speed. That's another little road in the rural suburb of our neighborhood here. So we usually take a walk for about 3 mile walk. I think that's about maybe 1.5 kilometers. I'm not sure with the conversion. They use kilometers here instead of miles. They use centimeters instead of inches. They use grams instead of pounds here. So you may have to get used to conversion. Someone put a little small thorn gate across their driveway to stop people from going in. But yeah, we're coming up on a very huge house where you can't really see it because of the size of this concrete wall. But you see water tower probably above the wall. A lot of people don't have wells as we consider it. They call them boreholes here, but people use water storage tanks to store water in, and it feeds by gravity. And it's fairly ingenious actually, because in America, if we have a well, we don't usually have a water storage tank that gravity will feed the water into your home, whether there's a pump pumping it or not. So people here are a lot more resilient. That's a very huge house behind that gate. You can't even really see it all, but it's a very beautiful compound. But I was speaking about the water storage. The water is above the house, so gravity feeds the water pressure into your house without a pump, which I think is great for people who are off grid and people trying to live off of the grid. So you might want to think about that if you're in America or someplace else. I know that's not common. It's not a common practice we have in the U.S. If your power goes out, then so does your ability to pump water into your house in most cases. And usually we don't store water in these storage tanks. I think that may have been like a 10,000 gallon, 10,000 liter tanks, which holds a lot of water. I think in our compound at our first cottage, we have a 3,000 liter tank. And I think you may have seen some pictures of that. See if I can add a clip inside this video so you can see what that looks like. But it feeds that in. We're going to add some more water storage, maybe another 2,500 liters, so that we can have as much water capacity available as possible. We also have a solar pump where we can use the solar pump to pump the water from the tank that's below into the upper tank, which feeds into the house. Here again, there's some shops. This is the Blessed Assurance Shopping Plaza. They have little mills there where they have corn mill, is big here because they make one of the Kenyan staples of ugali using cornmeal flour. So you see a lot of people harvesting their corn or what they call maize here. You may see some people drying them in the sun to take to the what they call a posh mill, where they take the granules that are dried and they grind them into a fine meal, which they make ugali out of. In the South, ugali is kind of similar to what we call grits. So again, now we see a beautiful acacia tree grove, and there's also some cows grazing in this field here. I find that to be very relaxing a view of these acacia trees. They usually grow up and have an umbrella type shape at the top that provides good shade. So that's another one in the front there, an acacia tree. We have some small ones growing on our mission-based property. We hope that they will grow up and take the shape of that umbrella, and we'll have nice seating areas around for those who visit the mission base. This is a school. On the other side of this live fence, the children were laughing and playing. You would think you were anywhere around the world. No matter where you are, children's laughter and playing sounds the same. The laughter and activity of the children. Most of the children here go to boarding schools, which means they stay at the school during the school year. They sleep there, they eat there, and they basically live there. And we also have boarding schools in America, but that's usually for private schools. Okay, so there you have it. Thank you for joining us on our morning walk. Ciao, Kwaheri.